It is certainly true, though. There is a lot of wacky stuff happening with regard to the military right now.
Thanks, Seth. Sir, a memo circulating on social media details the establishment of a National Guard response force that's going to be trained in crowd control and civil unrest and deployed in all 50 states by April of 2026. Can you verify the authenticity of that memo, and do you have any more information on the operations?
I'm not going to answer particulars on something that may be in the planning process, but we definitely do have multiple layers of National Guard response forces, whether it's in each state, whether it's regionally, whether it's Title 10 active duty.
Oh yeah, what the shit? Yeah, so a lot more information's been coming out in the past couple of days, but the Republicans have been explicit that there are no more elections. Like that's not even an exaggeration. The degree to which the rhetoric has ramped up on we are just going to have the military deployed everywhere and you won't be able to vote, or if you are able to vote, you know, it won't really make a difference. It's really been ramping up. It's really been ramping up. Yeah. Yeah, that Bannon video is disgusting. Yeah.
Well, he's going to get a third term. So Trump 28, Trump is going to be president in 28, and people just ought to get accommodated with that.
So what about the 22nd Amendment?
There's many different alternatives. At the appropriate time, we'll lay out what the plan is, but there's a plan, and President Trump will be the president in 28. We had longer odds in 16 and longer odds in 24 than we got in 28. And President Trump will be the president of the United States, and the country needs him to be president of the United States. We have to finish what we started. And the way we finish it through Trump. Trump is a vehicle. I know this will drive you guys crazy, but he's a vehicle of divine providence. He's an instrument. He's very imperfect. He's not churchy, not particularly religious, but he's an instrument of divine will. And you can tell this of how he's pulled this off. We need him for at least one more term, right? And he'll get that in 28.
You're not driving me crazy. I'm trying to understand the coherence of the things you've just told me in the last few minutes. On the one,
it doesn't matter that he's old. Like Bannon said, he's an instrument. Yeah, of course. Like, and I've said this for years. If Trump died, they would just do everything they could to make the next guy enact Trump's will. You know? Like, even if Trump died, like, the question is whether or not they could hold together the charismatic front, you know? But whether or not they could or couldn't, they would still attempt to continue on his legacy. Everything would be done in the name of Trump, you know? He's almost better as a symbol for them. Yeah, at least then he would stop doing Epstein blunders. No, they're really ramping up on this. It's from the New York Times. Trump empowers election deniers still fixated on 2020 grievances. Election officials from nearly all 50 states gathered on a call last month with the Homeland Security Department's point person on election integrity, eager to hear how the woman filling a newly created Trump administration position might help safeguard the vote ahead of next year's midterms, but many of them left alarmed. Rather than offering assurances that the federal government's election protection programs would continue uninterrupted, the new official, Heather Honey, Jesus Christ, instead used portions of the meeting to echo rhetoric that has infused the right-wing election activist movement that emerged since Trump falsely claimed that his 2020 defeat was the result of widespread fraud, according to 5 people with knowledge of the call. What is that name? It is a stripper name, yeah. Miss Honey, a leader in that movement until her appointment in August as Deputy Assistant Secretary for Election Integrity, complained her department's cybersecurity experts tasked with combating misinfo about elections had, quote, strayed from their mission. Look, I don't have the voice right now. Like, I can feel my voice fraying a little bit to read this out to you in its entirety. So this is a summary, and we're going to talk more about it in the future, okay? But they have said explicitly, unambiguously, that they intend to deploy the National Guard to every state and that it is going to be done for election integrity purposes. You can't, there's no getting around this. They're doing the thing that we said they were going to do. They're doing it. You know, the curse of foresight and all that. It's a big one. It's a real big one. They created an administrative position specifically to facilitate this. On a call with right-wing activists in March, Before her appointment to the Homeland Security Department, Ms. Honey suggested that the new administration could declare a, quote, national emergency and justify dictating new rules to state and local governments. She said this could be based on an actual investigation of the 2020 election if it showed there had been a manipulation of the vote. And therefore, we have some additional powers that don't exist right now, she said in March, according to a recording reviewed by the New York Times from someone who joined the call. And therefore, we can take these other steps without Congress and we can mandate that states do things and so on. This was before she was put in charge of election integrity by the administration. You know, whatever you want to take from that. This was before then. So this was their job interview? This was her job interview? I mean, essentially, yes, right? They heard what they wanted to. What can you even say, man? Yeah, I mean, I guess it's really just a matter of whether or not they'll actually be able to pull it off. The Trump administration is proceeding with ruthless efficiency with regard to the whole structural dismantling of democracy thing, and failing miserably in the whole creating a consensus for it. Like, we talk about the whole Reichstag fire thing, but Charlie Kirk's assassination didn't move the needle. Right now, it seems like, if anything, it's just a slow, meandering downfall in terms of popularity. Dictators do need public consensus. They don't need to do that if they dismantle a democracy. Yes, they do. As a matter of fact, they need it more than a democratic official would. A democratically elected official with no supporters and no popularity can stay in office, you know? An autocrat with no supporters and no popularity will be sent upstate and replaced. Dictators need public support. Yeah, public sentiment for the Republicans is not doing particularly well right now. They're just not building that support. I don't know. 41% is still insane? Yeah, well, Hitler started at 37%, but then rose to 90%. Yeah, but Hitler also had a project for transforming the country of Germany, you know, a cohesive project. Trump is just a, like, oligarch looter, you know? He just wants his shiny ballrooms and for people to pledge fealty to him. There's no like culturally transformative effort. And for what it's worth, by the way, the Republicans have completely failed thus far to take hold of the American cultural apparatus. Hollywood is not any more pro-Trump than it was 4 or 5 years ago. The closest thing they've been able to do in that vein is corrupt journalistic organizations, but nobody reads the press. That being said, the effort, or at the very least the attempt to pay military wages with private money alongside an active, ongoing effort to coordinate National Guard deployment in all 50 states. Something they would only plan for, by the way, if they wanted to interfere with the election. Why would you say you want to deploy them to all 50 states if the whole reason you're saying you're deploying the National Guard is to stop crime in Democrat cities, you know?
And Mr. President, if you are declaring war against these cartels and Congress is likely to approve of that process, why not just ask for a declaration of war?
Well, I don't think we're going to necessarily ask for a declaration of war. I think we're just going to kill people that are bringing drugs into our country. Okay? We're going to kill them. You know, they're going to be like dead. Okay?
Very good. Well spoken, Mr. President.